Hello everyone, it is the Canadian Futures Trader here. Welcome to the channel and welcome to the video.
Gotta get more followers.
If you have not already, be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications, be alerted anytime I put out a brand new video. Today's video going to be going over my day number 4 Earn2Trade 150k Gauntlet Mini. Another winning day. Really excited. Things are going terrific. More Ultrabond action, and even more exciting, this weekend I did some testing, tried some different screen recording options, and I think I've got it down. So I recorded the 2 trades that I made, and I will walk you through both of those. Before we get to all that, you're looking at my website, obviously, coming very soon, very soon, in the next day or two. Going to launch the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. I am nowhere near 1,000 subscribers, but that is okay. I've been calling it that, so we're going to go with that as the name. So look for that video in the next day or two. Another good reason to be subscribed to the channel. As well, if you come to my site, I put this on the front page. You certainly don't have to, but if you want to provide your email, you will also get an email notification anytime I put up a new post on the site. I don't do anything else. I don't sell anything. I have nothing to sell. I don't want to sell anything. Okay guys, before I let the video play, I'll just give you the punchline. It was another profitable day, about $750. I ended up trading on Sunday evening. As I was testing out recording, the Ultrabond was well, all the treasuries were fairly active. I said, no reason to wait. There's some great activity here. Let's jump on it. I was able to make 2 trades, and we got our 750. So the first trade actually took the longest, but I made the least on it. I only make 2 ticks on it. The second trade transpired much quicker, but I made far more ticks on it. So even though this first trade takes a lot longer, I'm going to try to go through it a bit quicker just because it's not quite as exciting as the second. I will just point out as well, before I let this play, I updated this little blue square over here. So goal 9,000 profit, current profit. So this was after day 3 on Friday, 24.40, days complete 3. So as well, because Earn2Trade has a scaling plan, so it'll be up to 15 contracts, but you scale into it. So if you're not familiar with scaling plans, you don't get to trade the full clip right away. You basically earn the right to trade more contracts as you build up profit. That is honestly part of the reason why I went with Earn2Trade this round. It sounds like it is probably more difficult, and it is, but when you get funded with any of the programs, regardless of whether they have a scaling plan or not during the evaluation, I guarantee you they all have a scaling plan on the funded side. So why not try to live by those rules during the evaluation? And I mean, I will say this as well. Currently, even though I've only been trading today's trades, I actually only trade 3 contracts. I actually downgraded. I traded less contracts than I traded days 1, 2, and 3. And we are right on pace to finish early. So you definitely don't have to trade the full clip to get ahead and pass these things. So let's get to it, guys. I'm going to show you the entry, and then I'm going to fast forward to the end because this trade took about 20-25 minutes. And again, like in some of the other days, there's a lot of nothing in between. So to provide a little bit of context here, I'm waiting to enter. So I did try to go long for 4 contracts. 3 of them filled, and that's why you see 1 up here. I'll try to get rid of this box here. It's not really going away. But you see down here, there's 3 kind of down here below. So I got filled for 3. There was still 1 remaining, and I ended up just canceling it. I said, you know what? We're good. 3 contracts, 4 contracts. Let's just stick with the 3. Another reason was, now that we do have 6 available, I was kind of thinking ahead. I was like, you know what? If we get some quick movement up, we could scale into this once we're on the profitable side. So we'll have 3 more potential contracts we could add on. I don't end up doing that, but that was kind of my thought process as well. So what was happening with the Ultrabond and all the treasuries, you can kind of see here. If you're familiar with Jigsaw, they've just been pushing the high. The video is playing. It's just kind of, there's not a lot happening right now. It does move a few ticks against me. This is obviously my stop loss down here at take profit. Again, if you're not familiar with Jigsaw, when the price is white, that means there's been contracts traded at that price or at least touched on it. You can also see in this column right here, this is essentially a volume profile. So this is how many contracts have traded at each price. So nothing's traded up here, so we are right up near the high. Right here on the 30-year in the middle, we're near the high. Same thing with the 10-year. Of course, treasuries tend to move a little bit in tandem. So they had been pushing the highs. There had been a bit of a surge. I kind of got in late, quite honestly. Obviously, I didn't get the best price since it does go a few ticks against me, but that's okay. Like I said, this trade does end up being a winner. At this point, I will fast forward because it doesn't go any further against me. It eventually works its way back up to my price. It kind of sits here for a while, and then finally, after about 20 minutes, we get the push that I was anticipating back 20 minutes before. So let me fast forward. Okay guys, so right now I am almost 20 minutes into the video. You can see here it's worked its way back up. There's not been a lot of activity. What is interesting right here, and this kind of gave me a lot more confidence in this trade, you're seeing this here, these pinks, these reds, these are sellers. They're hitting into this price of 16 and it's not budging. Even though, and I get a little wild here, this is the recording with the software I was using, just circling what I'm talking about right now. You're seeing sellers hit into this price and it's not budging, and buyers just keep adding on, adding on. So there's a refreshing order there. You can see 88 contracts sold into this price, and now there's still 15 there. So they just keep piling on. So there's buyers here willing to push this up above the highs. So feeling pretty confident right now about my trade. So at this point, you're seeing the 30-year right here is, I'm just drawing like crazy over there. You're seeing the 30-year is right at the high. You're seeing the 10-year, one tick off the high. But now the Ultrabond has also moved up. So now we're 2 ticks to the good. So at this point, I'm moving my stop loss up a few ticks. And at this point, this is kind of an emergency stop just in case this market just fell out from underneath. Hey, we would at least, or at most, lose 3 ticks. So not too worried about it. So we get a bit of back and forth here. Eventually, we get a little bit more of a push up. Yeah, you saw there, I moved my stop loss up to break even. So at this point, we are essentially free rolling. I don't think that's really the proper way to think of these trades. I mean, you obviously want to get as much out of it as you can, but it does feel comforting, I must admit, to know that you're not going to lose anything on this trade. At worst, it comes down, it hits our stop. That's our entry price. No harm, no foul. Alright, you're seeing it move up. It's kind of, we're getting some upward pressure again. Now it's 3 ticks to the good. I moved my stop loss up 1 tick, so now at a minimum we're locking in 1 tick of profit. So here I'm moving my take profit up just a few ticks in case we get one of those spikes up like happened a few days ago, especially in the evening when there's just not as much volume. I accidentally moved it back down. I remove it back up a few ticks here. In the evening when there's not as much volume, all it would take is somebody to come in, put in a market buy order for, 20 contracts, 50 contracts, and it would send this thing I shouldn't say skyrocketing, but it would definitely bump up multiple ticks. At this point, it is hovering between 4 or 5 ticks in the good. We're kind of at the high. What I am seeing over here though is on the 10-year, we're starting to get a little bit of pressure down. We're starting to get some back ticking. Starting to see it here as well. At this point, I'm thinking about possibly bailing on this trade. Honestly, at this point, we could clear out for 4 ticks profit. So right now would have been a great time to actually get out of this. We saw it pop down, it popped back up. We could get 4 ticks right now easily, even with the market order. Another potential would be to set my take profit right here. So if it does pop up, we get 5. But I'm kind of getting indications that this is going to start to move against me here. You're starting to see some selling again over here in the 10-year. It's kind of frozen right now, but it does kind of start to sell off. It's a judgment completely. We know at a minimum we're getting 2 ticks, but still that's not necessarily any reason to try and see. Even there, it popped down, it popped back up, popped down, popped back up. But what you're not seeing is the buyers push it up even further. So I really should be trying to grab the 4 ticks. I do not. What I do is I move my stop loss up to the price of 19. So I know I'm getting at least 3 ticks, which is great. But there was a few opportunities there to get 4 ticks. Now, you might think 3 ticks, 4 ticks, what's the big deal? Well, it's $100. So, and I do get filled right there. So there we go, guys. This trade was a little bit longer and ended up being a 3 tick winner at 3 contracts. So it was about just short of $300 winner there.
2 hours later.
Okay, guys, and this will be the second trade and the only other trade that I do. I go short here, I put a limit order, I get filled. So what had happened here, to put some context, and I will show you the Rithmic chart afterwards just so you can kind of see it in traditional chart format. So this is actually a couple hours after the fact from the previous trade, still Sunday evening. But there had just been a flurry of activity. I wasn't even necessarily watching the treasury market, but it was about 10 p.m. I thought, you know what, let me just see what's going on. And the price had moved $3. That's quite a bit. I mean, that's roughly 100 ticks. So that's a pretty big move for a Sunday evening. I mean, that's a big move for the U.S. session. So for it to move that much on Sunday evening, knew there was activity and we might be able to capitalize on that, and we do. So at this point it had run up. You see the high right here on the Ultrabond is right here. Same thing with 30 years here, 10 year over here is here. So it had run up and it was now charging down, and it all signs pointed to it was going to continue to push down. So I go short again. I just trade 3 contracts this time. Same intention, thinking about possibly scaling into this trade or just going with the 3. I was uncertain. There's a few points during this trade where I was really like, you'll see in a bit when I'm in the good and I'm like, oh, I could add on a few more contracts, but I just don't. I was just very hesitant and was kind of okay with how the trade was going with just 3 contracts on, so ultimately I just stick with the 3. So it never really goes against us, this trade. We went short here. It's already down 2 ticks in the good. I haven't fast forwarded at all. At this point, I'm moving my stop loss down. So again, we're short this time, so we're going to be moving downwards this trade. You see my mouse hovering right here. This is exactly where I was really contemplating, like, should I go short 3 more contracts? If I had, I would have got paid because this does end up actually moving several ticks down. The theory there is if I was to go short there, my average price would be 06. I would probably move my stop loss pretty close to that. So at worst, we might lose a tick or so, but at 6 contracts, we're going to feel a bit more pain there. So that's why I was a little hesitant. The trade obviously still works out great. Something I want to, possibly do. Just wasn't sure. I mean, again, like I said, there's a lot of activity on Sunday evening, but at the same time, it's a pretty thinly traded market, a little bit more in the evenings. So all it would take is one buyer to come in, throw up 100 lot, and just move this thing like 5 ticks, and stop us out. But doesn't happen. Obviously, right here we're 3 ticks to the good. Right here, getting ready to move my stop loss to break even. So similar to the previous trade, right now we know we're good. At worst, we break even on this trade again if it popped against us, but we're currently sitting 3 ticks in the good. So for the sake of time, I fast forwarded about 5 or 6 minutes. I mean, it's just slowly working its way down, and I'm just following it fairly tight with my stop loss. So we went from breaking even to 1 tick, 2 ticks, 3 ticks in the good. So at worst, it back ticks now, and we get 3 ticks of profit. Not too bad. There, I'm moving my stop loss to 4 ticks. So again, same situation, but we're just not seeing it. You're just seeing the sell column here, and it's not taking a lot of contracts to move this down. I mean, these are not big numbers, so they're just picking it off. No buyers are coming back and forcing this up whatsoever. So we're just gonna, and that's why I'm trailing it so close. There's not a lot, there was not a lot. There's no back ticking basically, and I want to get every tick out of this I can at this point. I'd kind of given up at this point on the idea of scaling in, so I'm like, at a minimum, then I want to make sure I get pretty much every single tick of profit. You see it pop down there even further. I'm quickly moving my take profit down further in case we get a spike, and I'm moving my stop loss there. So right now I'm counting with my arrow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ticks to where my stop loss is. So at worst, we're getting 6 ticks out of this. And there, very quickly, you saw it did pop up. All it took was somebody coming in with like a 30 lot order or something. Bang, it popped up. So we got 6 ticks out of that trade. Okay, guys, and here is Rithmic, sort of a traditional chart. So this is that exact same trade that we just saw, the second one. You don't see the first one on here because it was like 2 hours before. It's like way over here. That's not that exciting. But you see here, I went short at 07, and this is where it never went against us. And I mean, you saw this in Jigsaw, just tick down, tick down, tick down. We got filled at a price of 01. So there's our 6 ticks of profit. And that's basically it. I mean, I think what this kind of demonstrates a little bit too is, I mean, the chart tells whatever story it tells, but how I'm making these decisions on what I'm doing is based much more on the order flow and observing the 10-year and observing the 30-year and seeing what they're doing. So at this point, I could have kept going. There was still more movement after this, but I decided, you know what? We've made $750 today in our Gauntlet Mini, 2 trades. Let's lock it in and move on to day 5. Reflecting back on the trader valuations where I did really, really well, that was the strategy I used. I just, I would do 1 or 2 trades. They were good, done. Lock it in, move on to the next day. When you start trading and keep trading, say the next trade was a 5 tick loser. Well, now it doesn't feel so good. So instead, I think there's value there in just locking in the profit and moving on the next day. We still have 11 days left. We're about just over a third of the way in terms of the goal financially. I'm not saying I'm going to stretch this out for 15 days completely, but I'm also not going to try to force it and, finish it in, 5 days or anything like that. There's really no reason. So there you go, guys. I know this video was a little bit longer. There's those 2 trades, though. There's my thought process as well. Because I made these 2 trades on Sunday evening, it kind of frees up my Monday now. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I am planning on starting this 1,000 subscriber giveaway either today or tomorrow. I just need to kind of do one last look over it. You're going to have several ways that you can enter, and I want to make sure everything's working. I have all the links right and whatnot. And then I will put that video up. It'll also be on my website all simultaneously, and you guys can get to entering. As well, guys, one last plug for my website. I know I mention it often. I put a lot of work into my website, though. So I do get a lot of questions on, hey, here's kind of a bit about me. Which of these programs would be the best? I try to keep a nice summary on my website. I even, have a little chart, how I rank them based on different aspects. Even wrote out a little bit who's best for new traders, who's best in terms of price, etc. So always worthwhile looking at that. You can find it under Funded Trader Evaluations on my website. Link down below. And I'm going to leave you with that, guys. So tomorrow I will have my day number 5 video, and look for that giveaway video no later than the end of day on Tuesday. We'll kick this thing off. I'm excited. Several ways for you guys to enter. Have several prizes this round, so it's going to be a good one. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.